Looking through my feed, I noticed that Scubapro has a spring promo on their regulators, which got me thinking about why they have so many different regulators on offer and which diver each is actually made for. Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Yes, Scubapro has been manufacturing regulators since like 1963, I believe, and right from the start they built a reputation for making really tough high performance equipment. And one of their first big hits was the Mk2 regulator, which was super simple, super reliable, and believe it or not, we still have the Mk2, just in an updated form. Over the years, they've kept pushing the envelope with newer models like the Mk25 and the S600, which are very popular regulators, but all of those numbers, the S600s and the A700s and all that kind of stuff, can be a bit confusing to new divers, knowing which one to go for. And I thought it might be handy if I just broke down the regulator range in the first stages and the second stages, and especially now that there's an attractive offer out there, if you're in the market for a new set of regs, now is a great time of year to buy a set of Scubapro regulators. But yeah, I thought it might just be useful to break down who they're made for and kind of what they do, any kind of special features. But yeah, up until the end of July 2025, you can get a free Octo or a roller bag if you don't need an Octo when you buy a new set of regulators from Scubapro or from one of their Scubapro dealers. I'll pop a link up here to the Scubapro website so that you can read more about the offer, where it applies, how long and all that kind of stuff, what it applies to, because I don't think it's all of their regulators. But yeah, if you need a new set of regulators, then it is definitely worth looking at. But first of all, yeah, let's take a look at their first stages. The Mk25 EVO is Scubapro's current flagship first stage, and it's a very popular choice amongst divers. Put simply, it's a piston 5-port swivel turret. The 5-port means that you can connect 5 low pressure hoses, which is one more than most designs. So low pressure hoses are going to your second stages, low pressure inflators, stuff like that. And it has a swivel turret, which means that the hoses can rotate, or at least 4 of the 5 hoses can rotate, which allows for better hose routing options, a bit of flexibility, so there's a bit less tug on the hose. A swivel turret is a nice thing to have. It's not so much about fitting 5 hoses all at the same time. It's more about having the best port to route a hose in the particular direction that you need. The EVO in the name is an upgraded version. If you see EVO on any of the Scubapro first stages, it just means that there was a previous, there was a Mk25, and then they upgraded it to the Mk25 EVO. In this case, it's for better cold water performance and just kind of upgrades in general. They're little tweaks. They try to make them smaller, more effective, and yeah, improve the cold water performance. And sometimes there are special versions of the Mk25 EVO, such as the black tech, the titanium, and I think I've seen a white version recently. The standard version, like most regulators, is chrome plated brass, which is a great all-rounder. The black tech gives it a dark coloration, but it's also a tougher external treatment that protects from abrasions a bit better. Because brass is a bit of a soft metal, the chrome plating can get damaged, but with this PVD coating over the outside, it's a bit tougher, and it's black. And the titanium version, go figure, is made from titanium, which is a lighter metal. It's more expensive, and it does come at the expense of cold water performance. But if you're weighing your regulators by the grams when you're traveling, then yeah, titanium is much lighter. Mk25 EVO is popular for a reason. It's one of the best performing first stages on the market, not just the Scubapro range, and it's suitable for most diving applications, whether you're just starting out or whether you're side mount diving in cave systems and that kind of stuff. It is a really good practical first stage. The Scubapro Mk19 EVO was developed to meet the needs of demanding divers operating in cold, silty or harsh environments where traditional regulator designs might struggle. It's very similar in overall design to the 25 when you look at it from the outside, but the 19 is a diaphragm 5-port swivel turret. Without going into the complexities of the difference between a piston and a diaphragm first stage, the diaphragm version first stage is better sealed from the elements. Just by the way that it works, to stop contaminants from entering the first stage, which requires less thorough cleaning, basically. Otherwise, it's very similar. That 5-port swivel turret and the overall size and shape is pretty similar. Again, there's a black tech version, which is a bit tougher, but the Mk19 is really made for muck divers who don't always dive in crystal clear waters, but do need a flexible regulator setup for various configurations. That 5th port, like on the 25, lets you route the hose straight out of the top of the first stage, which can be handy for single cylinder setups, depending on how you do it, twin and side mount configurations. It just adds a bit of flexibility on how and where you can route your hoses. The Mk17 EVO 2 is what I consider to be the workhorse of the Scubapro range. It's a diaphragm first stage like the 19, but with fewer moving parts. It doesn't have that swiveling turret. The 17 has a traditional 4-port layout, so 2 low pressure ports either side and 1 high pressure port each side, and has now received the EVO treatment twice, so it's the EVO 2, which further reduced the first stage's size and weight whilst improving performance. They managed to get all of the performance into a smaller package and actually improve the airflow and different things on the inside. Great for harsh environments. The Mk17 EVO 2 is a solid first stage for divers who want something that's compact and reliable. It's more budget friendly than the 25 or the 19, and it's tough enough to be your one and only first stage for your entire dive career, unless you need to do anything particularly fancy with hose routing. Realistically, it has everything that most divers will ever need, diving on singles, twins, and even side mount. The Mk11 EVO first stage was Scubapro's lightweight travel first stage in my mind. It's similar to the 17 in overall design, but without the environmental sealing. It's very compact and has a traditional 4-port layout, 2 low pressure ports on either side and 1 high pressure port on each side. It's a good quality budget first stage that does maintain good cold water performance and a compact, lighter design. It's best for the holiday diver who spends most of their time in warmer waters, but does the occasional cold water dive at home. But I wouldn't be spending too much time or doing anything too extreme in very, very cold waters. It's a bit more temperate. Even it can go to cold waters. I wouldn't worry about it, but I wouldn't do anything too extreme with it. The Mk2 EVO is Scubapro's smallest first stage, and it's great if you're on a strict budget. It's a piston regulator with great performance, but the spoke pattern port design can make some hose routing options a bit tricky. Instead of hoses routing out of either one side, they route radially. So if you need to use all of those hoses, you often have to have one route straight upwards, which is a bit weird. But for basic setups, it has absolutely everything that you need. But another limitation is the single high pressure port. So if you want to use wireless air integration, you need to choose between a wireless air transmitter and a submersible pressure gauge. You can't have both. At home, in both warm and cold waters, the Mk2 performs amazingly well for a budget, small first stage. It's still quite popular, despite it being a budget first stage. But yeah, the one thing that really kind of sticks with me is that radial design of those hoses. Moving on to second stages, the A700 is Scubapro's flagship second stage right now, and they called it the Diamond, and it is very shiny. The A700 is an all-metal body second stage, which helps with cold water performance and also with dry mouth as well for some dives, because some of the moisture from your breath will actually condense on the inside for your next breath, so it's less dry. It's also tougher than plastic without adding too much weight. Great smooth breathe with a minimal work of breathing as well. So when you're inhaling, it's really nice and smooth and effortless. Adjustable breathing effort and a Venturi switch as standard, so you can control the breathing. It comes in a couple of different variants also. There's the Black Tech version with the PVD coating, and there's also a carbon Black Tech version with a carbon fiber front cover to reduce the weight of the second stage a little bit. It just means that one, for travel, is a little bit lighter, but also when it's in your mouth, there's less weight kind of pulling down, so you don't have to bite down quite as much, which can actually help reduce jaw fatigue. A very nice breathing second stage that is hard to beat, regardless of where you're diving. The S620Ti is a bit of an amalgamation of all of the best parts of other Scubapro second stages to make the perfect second stage. They took this from that, and then like, oh, actually, yeah, this exhaust tee is quite nice. We'll take this diaphragm, and they kind of push them all into one second stage. It's based on the S600 platform, which I'll speak about in a little second, the S600, which is a very strong foundation, and they've upgraded several parts, including the titanium barrel in the center, which is where the TI in its name comes from. That helps save a bit of weight and also corrosion resistance, whereas usually like stainless steel, brass, or sometimes it's even just plastic in some second stages, having it being made out of titanium means that you'll never have to replace that part. Adjustable breathing and a Venturi switch give you some customization of the breathing, and it does have a very lovely breathing quality because they kept the larger diaphragm from the S600, the smaller body. It just reduces the work of breathing by about 37%, if I remember correctly. Several versions of the S620. There's the standard version. There's a titanium version that swaps out the, I think it's steel, stainless steel on the front cover for titanium, which reduces the weight a little bit and is a bit stronger. There's also a 60th anniversary edition with a carbon fiber front cover, but that's limited edition, and I don't know if there are any left. I think they've all been sold, but you might find one online somewhere. The S620 is the fanciest plastic body second stage Scubapro make right now, and yet it is a good choice. The S600 is Scubapro's Goldilocks second stage. It's one of the most popular mid to upper range platforms with a great breathe and a classic smart design, adjustable breathing and Venturi with an accessible price tag. The S600 is a strong choice for most divers. It's a real solid all-rounder, and you'll see it on many dive sites. A stainless steel frame reinforces the plastic body and looks great as well. The air balanced valve smooths the breathe regardless of depth, so sometimes it will get a little bit harder and you get a bit thready kind of breathe, but with this, because of the way they balanced it, it's nice and smooth, and it also won't be affected by how much gas is left in your tank. With some regulators, as your pressure gauge starts to drop, it gets harder to draw gas in. Not with the S600, the way they've designed it. If a diver doesn't want the fancy like A700 tier second stage, but does want something just better than a base model, the S600 fits that perfect Goldilocks range. G260 is the S600's techie brother. Inside, they're actually very similar, and the main difference is that the front cover, basically, which has a cool special feature that it has over the S600, which I don't think is on the S600, that you can find on some other Scubapro second stages. It kind of comes and goes. It's on, I think, the R195, maybe some others, but you can push the purge button in and then just twist it slightly to kind of lock it in a half press position, and that's a storage mode. That helps to prevent the sealing surface from being damaged during storage. Because you've got a spring pushing something into a soft sealing surface, it can bed in over time in storage. So pressing that purge button just lifts it away a bit, helps to prevent it from bedding in. And they usually have that like when it's in the box from Scubapro. So if you notice that the Scubapro S on the front cover is a little bit wonky, it's in storage mode, just kind of twist it a little bit. That's a nice feature to have. It's also easier to disassemble with that front ring without fancy tools and stuff. Obviously, if you're not a technician, you shouldn't be pulling them apart, but it is a nice feature to have if you know what you're doing. It's also ambidextrous, so you can have the hose routing in from the opposite side if you like, depending on your diving preferences. You can swap it over, or a technician can swap it over. Standard version on this, and a lighter carbon fiber front cover version. G260 is a tough second stage design that's at home in caves and rough diving conditions. It's kind of, yeah, as I said, the techie version of the S600. They're very similar second stages inside. The D420 is an interesting design. It looks a little weird compared to the standard second stage design because Scubapro lowered the diaphragm, which is usually right at the front, and just kind of put it down and angled it a bit, which has a great effect on the breathing performance in different diving positions. It's reversible like the G260, so it's quite flexible, and if you don't mind the unconventional design, technically, it's a very nice breathe. We see designs like this come and go, unfortunately, in the diving industry because divers often stick to just what they know and what looks right. And even though it is technically one of the best breathing quality designs, because it looks a bit different, people opt for just a more traditional shape. It's best as your primary in your mouth. It is quite big for like an octo or a second stage. But yeah, once you actually try it out, that's the best thing, when you can get divers to actually try it next to a more traditional second stage and go, huh, actually, that's really good. The D420 is a very nice breathe. C370 is a rebadged sub-gear second stage. It's lightweight, it has decent performance and both adjustable breathing and venturi. In my opinion, the C370 is the closest thing to a travel second stage for Scubapro, but I wouldn't really define it as a travel second stage because it isn't drastically smaller or lighter than other models. If you look at some other Regulator ranges, they have their travel second stage and it's tiny compared to the bigger, more traditional second stages. This one is a bit smaller, but it's not that much smaller. I do see the C370 for the holiday diver though, a diver who wants a well-performing regulator at a reasonable price, something that will also work at home in colder waters as well, and is fairly compact for traveling. You see it paired up with the Mk11 quite a lot, and that's kind of it. It's at home in warmer waters. It'll do some cold water diving, but I wouldn't take it on like extreme cold water diving. It's just, if someone offers to take you diving somewhere close by and it's still cold in the water, you can still use it, but it's most at home in warmer waters. S270 is a more basic design. No breathing adjustment on here. There is a venturi switch, can help reduce free flows around the surface. There's an octo version where you'll probably see it most of the time as an octo, but there is a primary black coloration. If you want just a reasonably priced, lightweight second stage, nothing overly fancy. It is pneumatically balanced, which is great to see in a second stage of this price range for better breathing quality when your tank is running low. But yeah, most of the time you'll see it with a yellow front cover on someone's hip. R105 doesn't have the same pneumatic balancing as the S270, but its tough and reliable design makes it a very strong octo. The Venturi pre-dive switch compounds that to help reduce free flows on the surface. If it's on your hip and you're jumping in, it's quite likely to free flow. So just switch it to a pre-dive mode and that interrupts it, so you're not going to lose too much gas. It's a simple second stage without the bells and whistles of some of the other models, but it'll just get the job done when you need it. It's the Goldilocks of Octo designs, has that adjustable venturi switch to help it stop free flowing, but doesn't have the adjustable breathing quality or things, because when you do need to use it, you're not going to be too worried about the breathing quality, but it's just a tough, reliable, primarily Octo. And the 𝐟095 removes that venturi pre-dive switch. It's as basic as it gets when it comes to Scubapro regulators, and Scubapro set them up to just get the job done without the need for adjustable knobs and adjustable things. Inside, the 𝐟095 is a preset Viva. Viva, or VIVA, is a Venturi initiated vacuum assist. You'll see VIVA on many Scubapro second stage models, ones that I've already mentioned. And it basically uses the Venturi effect to improve airflow, even in a budget design. It creates a bit of a vacuum, so it draws more gas around it, so that it's not just the gas that's coming in through the hose, it just draws more, so you get a really good, decent breath from it. Scubapro have of course created a variety of regulator combinations from those first and second stages for various uses. And if you get your hose from Scubapro, you get the Scubapro Super Flow hoses with larger internal bore size for greater airflow. But remember that if you're looking to buy your first set of regulators or even upgrade your existing regs, Scubapro has that special offer on right now for a short time. Again, I'll pop a link up here. Scubapro, always a strong choice, especially when it comes to regulators, because of their international support network. When you're looking for a set of regulators, then you need to get them serviced periodically, and Scubapro has one of the best dealer networks around the world. And while Scubapro is sponsoring this video, I've always been happy to recommend Scubapro regulators. I've used Scubapro gear when I was teaching and it was always reliable. But if you have any questions about the Scubapro range, let me know down in the comments. And if you have any regulator recommendations for other divers, then of course, by all means, pop them down in the comment section. I'll pop links up here to the Scubapro website and down in the comments as well. Scubapro has a great store finder on their website where you can find your closest dealer and take a closer look at their range. Also remember to like and subscribe to this video and the channel if you found this useful. Check out our website and our magazine at divernets.com. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.